All right. Well, here I am, and there you are. Facebook, LinkedIn, waiting to see what happens with YouTube. Boom, there it is. Hey, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Of course, I like to think that every day is Friday. I like to live my life like every day is Friday. What a great place to be. Um, and I was sitting here pondering what I wanted to come share today. First of all, I think um, in celebration of Christmas, I'm going to take next week off of the Facebook live streams and the following week and reconvene here starting on the first of the year. So this will be the last live stream for the next couple weeks. But I look forward to seeing you and joining you here in the new year. So I was thinking a lot about goals recently. I held a goal setting class for a group of amazing women the other day and been reflecting on what the meaning of those pieces and some of the keys to being successful when it comes to setting goals. And one of them is sharing your goal with someone else. And so I wanted to share a couple of the things that I'm working on and ask a couple questions and or favors from you if you're here listening. And if you are here live, leave me a comment. Let me open up my comments window now so that if you're here and you share something, I can see it. There we go. But yeah, I wanted to just share a couple of the things that I'm working on with you, and I would love some input on a couple pieces. So one of the things that I've just decided for 2022 is that I'm going to start a research project that ideally will lead to a new book. I've been wanting to write a book. I'm just still not clear on what that message is personally, because I want to write a personal and professional development book based on some of my experiences, but I'm not quite there yet. So one of the things I do want to do is I want to reach out to the most successful people that I can find and ask them a series of questions. So I'm looking for two things right this second is one, who's the most successful person that you know that you'd be willing to introduce me to? That would be number one. Number two is what questions would you most like to know from not just them, but if you had the opportunity to interview or sit down with a group of 100 of the most successful people you can find, what would you like to know from them? So I'd love some feedback or input on those questions as I develop this research so that I can start the interview process and ideally get through most of those interviews in the first quarter. That would be exciting to me. I'm working on another project that's going to be specific to two other projects specific to the veteran community, especially in the area of entrepreneurship. One of them is to connect with other veteran entrepreneurs. So I'm launching a veteran entrepreneur mastermind in the first of the year. I think officially we're going to start that in April, but I'm going to go ahead and open the doors at the beginning of January. And those first few people who would like to join me in participation in that mastermind as I work to create it and build it, those first few people are going to have the experience of one-on-one coaching with me until we add another person, and then it'll be very small group coaching. And then when we finally move into the mastermind, there'll be more of a masterminding component associated with that. I'm also working to build here in the veteran entrepreneur space a program that enables more veterans transitioning from service to move seamlessly into entrepreneurship. I know that there's a lot of programs out there that are providing wonderful training. A lot of them have some specific requirements, but they're doing great things like Bunker Labs, man. They're a great organization and they're doing wonderful work, but there's not enough. And so I want to contribute something a bit different into that space. And right now I'm looking for people who can fill billets in a personal board of advisors to start developing what that looks like. I really want to eliminate some of the barriers for people to move into entrepreneurship, especially our veteran family. So those are the two of the veteran entrepreneur centric things that I'm working on in 2022. And of course, I mentioned the research project that ideally is going to lead to a book. So I want to know from you, who are the most successful people you know? And would you be willing to introduce me so that I can prepare to invite them to an interview once I have my questions ready? And I see spending 15 minutes to 30 minutes with each one. I don't know that it will require much more time than that for each person, so it won't be a burden to them. Of course, I'm happy to talk with them longer than that. I just want to set a precedent up front that I don't want much of their time. Um, so those are some of the things that I'm working on for 2022. But I'm also working to build. I'm a big fan of strengthening community and community relationships and partnerships. My passion is to connect with other interesting people and other top performers, people who are excited about life, people who are excited about the things that they're working on. My passion is connecting with them and strengthening those ties right here in the community is something I'm working on. So I'm also working on a mastermind program for in person here with other leaders in my immediate community, and I'm pretty excited about all of these things. So that's what I came to share today, is just a couple of the things I'm working on, some of my goals for 2022, because if we don't share those with somebody, um, there's one barrier to actually being able to achieve them. So there it is. It's out in the world. Hopefully you'll reach out to me and check in at some point and see what those things are shaping up to be like. Hold me accountable. And if you'd like to share something you're working on with me for 2022, one of your goals, I'd love to hear from you. But yeah, that's what I came to share today. Short presentation. I will not be here the next 2 weeks. We'll reconvene here on these daily lives in the first of the year. But I'm just going to take a break to flesh out a little bit more about those goals that I've just shared and the projects that I'm working on, so that I can ramp up for another successful year in 2022. But if you need something between now and then, don't hesitate to reach out to me. If I haven't heard from you in a while, I'd certainly invite you to connect with me and let's just have a conversation. So I look forward to seeing you after the first of the year. Until then, I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Take care.